Good evening. Welcome all the participants and the speaker for this evening, Dr. Kuldip Dhiman. The topic of reincarnation is romantic, alluring, and mystic. And we have a very good, fantastic, fabulous, first-class speaker on this theme. Dr. Kuldip Dhiman is a master's degree in Sanskrit, English literature, and is a doctor of philosophy. He is currently working as Indian Council of Philosophical Research Fellow, ICPR Research Fellow, at Center for Swami Vivekananda Studies. Earlier, he worked in Deccan Herald as an industrial photographer, videographer, scriptwriter, and Photo Magic LLC on behalf of them from Muscat, Oman. So he has been very working on a visual aspects, a lot of things, photography, videography, which are very important when we talk the context of life and reincarnation. And he has also been responsible for editing and publishing many books. Some of them are The Essence of Life, The Ultimate Iconoclast based on Osho's revolutionary ideas, Param Vidrohi, The Science of Mental Healing. He is also a member of London Psychic Research Society, as well as he has done significant work in paranormal psychology. He has investigated numerous cases of reincarnation. In fact, I don't know about, I'm sure most of the participants are like me. We are very keen to know not only about reincarnation, but how we can plan our reincarnation, because we don't know how well we plan this birth, but most of us who are in the School of Ancient Wisdom hopefully are planned very well, otherwise we will not be in this program now. So I request Dr. Kuldip Dhiman to enlighten us on reincarnation. Is it a fact or myth? And I hope it is a fact. Thank you, sir.
Sajani Kiran, and it's over to you, Dr. Kuldip.
So please unmute yourself.
Kuldip sir, audio on kar lo.
Is it okay now? Is it okay?
Yes, sir, we can hear you, sir.
Yes, it's okay.
So, namaste, sat sri akal, salam alaikum, and good evening to people who are in India, and good morning to those who are on the other side of the world. I should first of all thank School of Ancient Wisdom and all its members and organizers who considered me worthy enough to speak here. They gave me a free hand. I could choose on any topic. So I said I would like to speak on reincarnation. And I said it will be based on true cases of reincarnation. All right, there are many people who speak on reincarnation because they believe in reincarnation. Some people speak against reincarnation because they don't believe in reincarnation. Okay, so people only take sides. Whatever you believe in, you try to argue accordingly. It's very easy. Whatever you believe in, it's easy to use logic to prove what you believe in. But I am not asking you to believe in reincarnation or not believe in reincarnation. I'll try to present some cases to you. After that, it would be up to you. If you are convinced, you may believe in it. If not, you can just think you had a good evening here. I think my voice is echoing.
Yes, there's an echo.
It's good now, sir.
Okay. Now,
So could you please, yeah, you're good now, sir.
all right. So I would also like to, first of all, thank all the participants who have come here, sparing time. And I've noticed some of them are, I know well. I was introduced as having worked in Oman, Muscat, Photo Magic LLC. So our the boss there happens to be Mr. George here. He happens to be here. He has kindly come and joined us. And there are many others also. A lot of my friends. I can't name all of them. And there is Pashupati. He's here. He is a great yogi. He's an American and he's a great yogi. So I met him here at the center where I work. And Swami Pashupati, if I make a mistake, I hope you'll forgive me. Okay. So as I said, I'll just present things to you. After that, it's up to you to believe in it or not believe. But at least look at the evidence. Science says you should not ignore evidence just because it's counterintuitive. It doesn't agree with you. So most scientists, they ignore reincarnation without even investigating it. I'm saying at least investigate it. After that, if you think it's not true, then you reject it. But without even checking it, you should not reject it. That's the idea. Similarly, those who believe in reincarnation, because certain religions like Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism, Sikhism, they have this idea. So some of us, just because it is in our religion, we believe it. But that's also wrong. We should first investigate, try to see, meet some people who have reincarnated, speak to them, and then after that, you are free to make your decisions. So I'll be speaking less. I have 4 subjects here who I believe I've met them, and I'm fairly convinced that what they say is true, because when they were children, they started at the age of 2, they started talking about their past life families, their wives, their parents, and some of them were lucky enough to find their past life families. They went there, and naturally the past life family is not going to accept any child saying that I am your father or something. So they are going to ask many questions. So they asked many questions, and after that the child often said certain things which even the family didn't know. See, for example, if you're a famous person, I can know about you through social media, through your neighbor, something, but there are certain things which I will never know. For example, what went on between a husband and wife, I can never know, right? If I claim to be husband of somebody, I should be able to tell something very personal which nobody knows, which not even the parents know. So that's what these people did. Now I'll give you a small presentation before I call the real cases. I want you to see them, talk to them, and let's see how it goes. So I'm going to share a presentation. Can you see the presentation, this screen?
Yes, sir.
So now let me begin. Reincarnation, or you can call it rebirth, and in Sanskrit it's called punarjanma. Janma means birth, punar means again. When you're born again, it's called punarjanma. And in English, of course, we call it reincarnation. Oh, sorry, 1 second. Let me. All right. Is it clear now?
Yes. It's
Now,
clear.
see, what's the greatest universal fear that grips not only humans but all creatures? All of you here who are present, I'm sure there is one fear that overrides every other fear. And that fear motivates us to learn things, to make ourselves strong. To what do you think that fear is? Okay, that fear is death. It's the fear of death that makes us work. It's the fear of death that makes us study, try to get good marks, get a good job, get a nice partner in life, have children, because we are afraid of death. If death hadn't been there, most of us wouldn't be doing anything. It's death that motivates us. But is death real? That's the question. And do we end with death? Now, most of us believe that we end with death. That's over. This life is the only life. And what happens? Nothing happens after that. And different faiths have different explanations for it. That what happens after that, you go to some other place in heaven or hell, and accordingly. Now, all our efforts, okay, this I've already said, all efforts are nothing but an effort to avoid death. Why do you want to be strong? Why do you want to be, why do you want to learn things? So that we could make money. But money for money's sake is useless. If on Mars, if you give me $1 million, it would be of no use to me. It's used only here, because with that I can buy security, I can buy other things. So believers and atheists disagree about many things, but they cannot deny the reality of death. Whether you believe in God or don't believe, everybody believes in death. So what is the reality? We all believe that death happens, but what is reality? Reality is something which everybody believes, which the majority believes. So we get, even if we don't believe, we start believing in something. When if everybody believes, then, for example, earlier, about 500-600 years back, everybody thought the earth was flat. So that was normal, and that was science then. But then they came, people like Galileo and others, they said, no, it's not flat, it's a sphere. So now to say it, because now majority of us believe it is a sphere, earth is round. Now to say it is flat, then that won't be acceptable. Although it was acceptable about 600 or 700 years back. So reality is what everybody believes. And if everybody believes in a wrong thing, it becomes a right thing. In the sense, for people, it will become a right thing. So reincarnation, I've told you, cultures outside India too had a strong belief in reincarnation. But with time, those ideas got purged out of their cultures. There are many reasons for that. We don't have time to go into that. So many people think that only Indians believe in reincarnation. No, but this is not true. A lot of research is going on. I'll show it to you later. American Indians, Canadian Indians, and all those people, they have these strong beliefs in reincarnation, and many other cultures. So I'm going to skip this because this is going to be philosophy kind. So, but the thing is, we don't remember. In India, they say, the yogis and others, they say everybody is actually reincarnated. Even you and I, we were born again, but the difference is we don't remember. And those children who remember, they remember, but we don't remember. Now, why some children remember, we don't know. Yeah, that's a mystery, frankly speaking, why some remember. But if you take an average, most of them died a very, you can say, painful death, accidental death, murder, or suicide, such kind of deaths. So they are the ones who, most of the children are like that. They were either murdered. Now the thing is, hundreds get murdered every day, hundreds in war, hundreds die. Why don't all of them reincarnate? Or why don't all of them remember? Now we don't know why. That's a mystery. So in the Gita also, Shri Krishna says to Arjuna, Bahuni me vyatitani janmani tava charjuna, tanyaham ved sarvani, natum vet parantapa. Hey Arjun, many lives of mine have passed, and so have yours. That means you're also born hundreds of times before. But there was a difference. I remember them all, but you do not. Now that's the difference. We don't remember. Now this is what they are saying. I don't want you to commit on anything. Now research, unfortunately, in India, which is supposed to be a land of reincarnation, nothing is happening. There is just one, I think Jaipur University or Rajasthan University, they had a one, maybe not department, one one person doing the research, but now nothing is being done. Now there's this division of perceptual studies in the United States. Now they are doing a lot of work. It was initiated by Dr. Ian Stevenson and then founded in 1967. And according to the last report from the DOPS, they have around 2,500 cases in their files. Out of those, 1,700 have been solved. Solved case means when the child finds the past family and all are convinced that this child is the same who is claiming to be. That means that's the meaning of a solved case. All right. So they are devoted to what's this? Just please. Okay. Now they are devoted to the investigation of phenomena that challenge mainstream scientific paradigms regarding the nature of mind-brain relationship. All right. Now the prominent researchers are Dr. Satwant Pashricha from India, Erlander Haraldson. Unfortunately, he passed away last November 22nd. He did a lot of work, and also he wrote a book on Satya Sai Baba also, and he tried to investigate the miracles Satya Sai Baba used to create. And Dr. Antonia Mills, Tom Schroeder, Dr. Kirti Swarup again from India, Jim Tucker, Jim Matlock, Titus Rivers, Chris Carter. There are many others who are working, and they are trying to make this research recognized. Although the mainstream scientists they have not yet recognized it, but these people are working on those lines. This is not moving. All right. Now, could you please, I can't see 1 minute. Okay, there are tribal cases. This window is troubling me. Could you remove this window, please? This top thing. Hello?
Yes, sir. Can you stop share and share it back again?
Okay. Should I share?
Yes.
Should I share? Okay. All right. Can you see this now?
Yes.
Okay. Now there are tribal cases that tend to have weaker phenomenon than Asian cases. Tribal cases of America and the Western countries. So Western countries have fewer cases because maybe people don't take them seriously when a child talks like that. Anyway, in Stevenson's collection, as it stood in 1983, 80% of the cases of Burmese, 79 of Lebanese. This, to my knowledge, Lebanese do not believe in reincarnation. At least but there also they are found 77% Indian cases was solved. In contrast, only 20% of American non-tribal cases. All right, non-tribal cases means those who are not original Americans, not Native Americans. Why this is not moving? Okay. Sometimes the gender changes. A boy may be born as a girl may be born as a boy. So these are the figures. I don't want you to trouble with these, but 15% of 60 non-tribal cases involved in change of sex. In Burma, 33 of 230 cases did. In Sri Lanka, the figure was 10%. So these are other figures. I'm going to skip this. Now, how does reincarnation happen? Why does it happen? How does it happen? Now, if you go by the Indian philosophy, all right, if you go by yoga, what yoga says, Sankhya yoga, all these people, they say that what you're seeing in red, this is our physical body, gross body, physical body, which all of us know as body. But we don't have just one body. We don't have just one body. Behind this, there is a Sukshma Sharira, subtle body. To give you an example, like you have a computer or a phone, okay, now that is the hardware part of it. What we see is the hardware. But what is inside is software. Hardware will not work without software. Similarly, software will not work without a hardware. Both are required. So our body has these physical things like muscles, bones, all those, it is very complicated. Our human body is as complex as the entire universe, and even our brain is as complex. So, we should not take our body very lightly. We have to take care of the body because we have something which is as complex as the entire universe. And our brain, it has all the information stored in it. We'll see how. Maybe some other day we'll talk about it. So, but normally we take this physical body to be ourselves. And when this body perishes, in other words, when it stops breathing, we say the person has died. But how can we be sure about it? When the hardware is broken, it's not necessary that software also gets destroyed with it. Nowadays, we have this what's it called, cloud storage. So even if you lose your phone or something, all your data is, you can recover when you buy a new phone. So with that analogy, I would say there's a subtle body. So with the death, this body perishes, but this subtle body, it escapes and finds a new body. This is the theory. I'm not asking you to believe it, but I'm just telling you what the explanation we have right now. This body, according to the karma, everybody knows karma. According to the karma, you find another body, and then another. But when you get a new body, a lot of what was there in the old comes as a baggage. You must have seen many children are very good from the beginning in music. Some are good in math, some are good in sports, some are good. Mozart, Mr. George might correct me if I'm wrong. Mozart, at the age of 5, he composed the symphony. Now, can you believe it? Most people, even at 50, they can't do that. This child, without being taught, at the age of 5, how is it possible? Even if fingers do not reach, piano's keys are quite spaced out and big. But at the age of 5, I'm told, I've read, not only told, I've read many places that he could. That's because a lot of baggage. We are not born with a blank slate. John Locke, the philosopher, British philosopher, he proposed a theory that human beings are born with a blank slate. The mind is blank, like, tabula rasa, he called it. So blank slate. So everything is, after the child is born, things are written on the mind. But in India, we do not believe in that. A child comes with a preloaded software. Most of it is preloaded. That's why a child knows. The minute it's born, it starts breathing. Now, who is teaching it to breathe? The mother doesn't teach the child to breathe. The child knows to suck milk, and the child knows when it is hurt to cry and when it's happy. So most of it, the language and everything, you must have experienced this yourself. Okay. Now, so this subtle body escapes, and it finds another body and another, and it goes on endlessly. Okay. Now here is this one. So this is Center for Reincarnation Studies. You can read this, I suppose. Can you hear me, all of you? Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Welcome back, Center for. So that means you're not here for the first time. Okay, today I'm going to introduce you to 4 different people and 5 cases actually, but one person will not be present. Now, first is the case of he's Prem Gilgotra. He was an army man. He was murdered, and this is This is Rajiv Khanna. This is Rajiv Khanna. He was born as Rajiv Khanna. You'll hear from him later. I'll talk about them. This is Savita Sharma. She was born in Himachal Pradesh, but she remembers her past life as a girl in Calcutta who was maybe killed by her sister-in-law. Now, this is the case of Munnu and Mridula Sharma. She's here. Mridula Sharma remembers herself as a girl born and brought up in Dehradun. So we'll talk about her. Now, here there is a case, very unusual case. This is Julia Morgan Scott from the United States. Now she says, now you won't believe this. Who can you recognize this girl? This person? Can anybody recognize this person? I suppose not. This is Sarojini Naidu. Sarojini Naidu, I think at least most people may have heard of. She was a freedom fighter and a poet. She says she has strong memories of herself as Sarojini Naidu. Now, this is not a solved case yet. We haven't been able to trace anybody from Sarojini Naidu's family so far. But I hope after this talk, maybe somebody will give us a clue where to find. Now, it is surprising. I thought this is going to be an easy case. Sarojini Naidu is so famous, so I'll find her family very easily. But I've tried everywhere. I haven't found anybody. And one or two I found, they haven't responded. So Jim Matlock, who is a researcher, as I mentioned his name, from the US, he asked me to find, if I could find her people. I said she was so influential and so rich. I said her descendants, you might find them in the US. The chances are they'll be more in your backyard. Okay. Now, this is the case of Satnam. This is Satnam, this boy. This is the only picture we have of his. And this is another boy called Taranjit. This case is unusual in the sense that the handwriting of this dead boy and this boy was compared by a forensic expert who is with us today. And he says the handwriting matches. Now, this is, impossible. So far, we haven't come across any, handwriting of two people matching. You may forge it, but to us it will look different, but same, but it can't escape the eye of an expert. So he'll talk about it. Now, I'll briefly now introduce, I'll take up the cases. This is circa 1966. This is Prem Gilgotra, an army man from Saharanpur, Uttar Pradesh, India. He was, Saharanpur. He had taken voluntary retirement, maybe. We don't know much about him, or he had maybe retired. And he started a taxi service after that. And this is his wife, his younger son, his daughter, and his elder son. So one day, he came and he said, okay, let's go out somewhere. You get ready. So when she got ready, suddenly there were some people. They said, please drop us, to Dehradun. It's very urgent. Please take us there. Then he said, okay, Dehradun is not far away from Saharanpur. Then he told his wife, you just get ready. I'll drop these guys and come back. So as he was driving, one of the guys, there were four of them. So one of them from the back, put a muffler around his neck and they strangled him. And the reason is because Prem Gilhotra was a witness to a case of smuggling. He had taken some passengers. Then the police intercepted his car, and they found some contraband, some maybe drug. I don't know what it was. They found there, and they took him also to jail. So he said, "I was just driving. I'm just a driver. I'm a taxi driver. I don't know what people carry." So then they said, "Okay, but you should be a witness. Will you be a witness?" He said, "Yes, I would be." Then after that, those people started telling him not to appear in the court. And he said, no, I will appear. And that's the reason he was killed. And he was born as Rajiv Khanna. Rajiv Khanna, yeah, he's here with us today. Born in 1967, roughly a year after. At the age of 3, he started recalling his past life as Prem Ratan Gilhotra. At the age of 3, he started telling his parents, you are not my parents. He was born in Yamunanagar, and Saharanpur is not very far away, hardly 30 kilometers from Yamunanagar. This is Rajiv here, at the age of 14. But at the age of 2.5 or 3, he started saying, you're not my parents. So his parents were naturally worried. Then initially they ignored him, but then he was persistent. This boy, he used to get into depression, heavy depression, even at the age of 2.5. Can you imagine? Because he used to miss his wife, his children, and his parents, past life parents, so much. Rajiv, he will tell you that he says, I never played with my friends. I didn't have a normal childhood because of this memory. He was a grown-up man at the age of 2.5. He had all the baggage of a grown-up man. He was worried about his past life mother. He was worried about his father, his wife, his children, how they were doing, how they were studying. At the age of 2.5, he was, most of the time, he was alone. He used to sit in a room and cry many times. Then one day, they asked him, the parents asked him, where were you? He said, I was in Saharanpur. But they said Saharanpur is a big city. Tell us exactly where you are. Then he said, Mandir Wali Gali, a street in which there is a temple. Now, this is again a vague thing because there are many temples in Saharanpur, and how to find that. But anyway, one day they had some relations in Saharanpur. So they took them there. They took this little boy there. And there was a car, an abandoned car in front of the house. And this boy used to play in that car, start playing. And one day he told his father, look, this is the gearbox, this is the speedometer, this is, the clutch cable and all that. So his father didn't have a car then. This is, 66, must be around 70. That time, very few people had cars in India. So his father said, I don't have a car. How do you know? He says, I had one. I had a car like this. And then he would talk like that. Then sometimes he would disappear. Sometimes he would disappear. And naturally, the family used to look for him. Then they would find him in a temple playing there. Then again, he disappeared after a day. Again, they realized that he goes to that temple. Again, they found him playing in front of the temple in the street. Then one day he disappeared again. They looked for him everywhere. They didn't find him in the temple this time. So they were worried. And then they looked here and there, tried to ask questions. They found a huge crowd in front of a house. And they asked what happened here. They said there's a little boy who claims to be their son. And then they probably guessed, okay, then they went and saw this Rajiv Khanna at the age of maybe 3.5 or 5. He was, speaking to his past lives, supposedly past life family, past life father, mother, and brothers. And he was speaking to them. And they naturally, nobody believes such things, so they started, because people are worried, maybe, it's a hoax, maybe they want to cheat us, maybe they want our money, whatever. We have all sorts of fears. So then they started asking questions. They asked so many questions. He answered all of them correctly. And then he recognized his mother, his past life father, and the mother was not there. There was a chair there. He said, armchair of his mother, that wheelchair of his mother. They said, but this is not the wheelchair. There's some other wheelchair. They said, yes, because that wheelchair had been changed after he had died. And then his mother came. She asked him many questions, and he answered, and she was convinced. But then the father said, okay, now you have to recognize your wife. His wife, his past life wife, had two. She was a twin, so she had an identical sister who incidentally lived in the same city. So father was skeptic. So what he did, he called the sister and presented her as his wife. He says, here, this is your wife. Then Rajiv said, no, this is not my wife. This is my sister-in-law. My wife is somebody else. And then he said, I have nothing more to ask, because if you can identify so clearly. Meanwhile, his daughter, he was asking about his daughter, where's my daughter? When she returned from school, he recognized her. He recognized his son, but he did not recognize his youngest son, because when he died, he was maybe a few months old, and now he was 3 or 4 years old. So naturally, he could not recognize them. And then this is how it goes. Then the father said to his past life wife, hey, listen, we are convinced that he is our son, but you are his wife. You can convince, make yourself convinced. So he said, you go to that room and you have a chat. So they, closed the room. They sent them to a room. Then after a while, she came out and said, yes, he is the same person. And so this is the story of Rajiv Khanna. After that, when he was in this house, he would remember the past house. And sometimes he used to get so depressed, and it was realized, he used to say, I think something is wrong with my mother. So then, sure enough, there were no phones those days. They used to find out, and then they used to realize that the past life mother was not well, or father was not well, or there was a death in the family. Intuitively, he could tell that. And he was, that's how it was going. So he was split between two lives. They were good enough to accept him and said, you are free. When you want to live with us, you can come here. You can go back when you want. But the problem is his life was split. When he was in this house, he used to remember that house. When he was there, he used to remember this mother. So he was torn between two worlds. And you can imagine his conflict. And here, one day his father said, but your daughter is getting married. He was 14-year-old then. He says, it's your daughter's marriage. You got an invitation. So he said, okay, will you go? He said, yes, of course, it's my daughter's marriage. I'll go there. He said, then he said, I want to give her a gift. Then the father said, okay, how much money do you want? You can have a gift. He said, no, she's my daughter. I'll get her a gift from my money. So Rajiv used to save money, and with his own money, he bought her a tea set. And this is the picture of the wedding. And this is his daughter, past life daughter, Madhu Gulati. I met her about a year back or more. And I asked her that, are you convinced that is your father? She says, yes. I said, he gave you a gift. Is it still there? She said, yes. And she showed me this. See, it's brand new. She hasn't even opened the wrapping. And it was lying just behind her, as if he had given her just yesterday. So that kind of attachment is there. So this is his daughter. And of course, this story I can tell you in detail. Before that, let me finish the cases first, and maybe then you can speak to them. Is it okay? Or you want to speak right away? What do you say?
You carry on. We'll speak to them later.
Okay. Yeah, that way. Now, this is Savita Sharma. She remembers a past life in Kolkata. She was born in 1937. Started recalling her past life as a Bengali girl who lived with her brother and sister-in-law at 14 Merlin Park, Calcutta. I haven't been able to trace this address because it has been changed. Now it is something else, and that building is no longer there, I'm told. So anyway, if somebody has any clue, somebody can give me some link to this place, somebody from the audience, if somebody from Calcutta can help me with this. I could not trace her, house, because frankly, I haven't gone there at all, because I haven't had the time, and maybe one day I'll do that. But before that, I need some lead. All right, Savita Sharma will tell her story herself. She's a very good narrator. She'll tell her story herself. She was born in Himachal Pradesh, and one day, the mother used to cut Karela, Karela, bitter gourd. So she says, मैं भी ऐसे मच्छी काटती थी. Even I used to chop fish like this. And she was born in a Brahmin family who don't eat meat. So the mother said, shut up. How can you talk like this? How do you know how to chop fish? She said, I used to do that when I was in Calcutta. Then she spoke about her. She used to talk about her past life in Calcutta. She lived with her brother and sister-in-law. The sister-in-law was very cruel to her. She was about maybe 8 or 10 then, and she used to make her do all the housework and beat her up if she didn't do it properly. One day, she says there was something, she did some work, it was not done properly, and then she hit her with a pair of tongs on her head. And after that, Savita says, I flew and came to these present parents. So this is what she says. You can hear it from her. Now this is Mridula Sharma, Munnu and Mridula. Munnu, this is the past life girl. She lived in Dehradun, and she was suffering from cancer, and she died very young. Now this is one unique case. This is not accidental death. Most of the others are accidental deaths. This is not accidental death. And Mridula Sharma herself is eloquent. She'll talk about it. And this is Mridula Sharma. The day she recognized, her past life. This one. Now I'll tell you. Now Mridula is a writer, born 6th September 1949 at Nasik. MA Political Science, author of Wow, No Side Effects. She has written a book on remedies, and also a book on write your own book, self-publishing, raising a vegetarian champion. We all have one genie like that. At the age of 3, she started recalling her past life as Munnu. She would tell her mother, I had a big car, I had this car, and her parents didn't have a car. He said, what? You and car? Come on, don't joke. In Hindi, se na, muh dekha apna, tere paas car kahan se aa gayi? Like that, your mother used to laugh when she made those claims. Now one day, they were in Dehradun. The mother was there, invited for some function, and she recognized the car. Oh, this is the car, she says. Her past life mother came in this car, and this is Mridula. She recognized, she said, that's my car, that's our car. And then the story goes on. Mridula will talk about it. And then initially her parents were very influential, the past life parents, and even this life parents are quite well to do, but past life parents were like the elite of Dehradun, one of the biggest families of Dehradun. And they had many cars like this. They had elephants, I'm told. They had the horses and horse carriages, so many things, like almost like a royalty, almost like the royalty. And she recognized this car, and she'll tell the story herself later. This is on when she was married. This is Mridula. This is a past life mother. Past life mother. She used to call her Bhabi. Bhabi means sister-in-law. In olden days, it was common. Children, like somebody used to call her mother Bhabi. So child used to think this is the child's mother's name, and also start calling Bhabi, although she was the mother. And okay, these are the pictures on the first day. This is some embroidery work, some artwork done by Munnu. This is Mridula now. This is their home. It is past life. It's like you can see, it's a big mansion. This is her past life cousin of her, Vinay Gupta. Now this is Satnam Taranjit. This is again a unique case of this is a case of matching handwriting. Very briefly, this boy, he was on a cycle with a friend of his. He was going on a cycle, and suddenly a scooter. It was raining. The road was slippery. This is the place where he died. This is spot. It was slippery, and suddenly, he was hit by a scooter, and the other boy ran away because he was a child. He was afraid, and this guy started bleeding, and he died. He could not survive. Then Taranjit was born. He started talking, claiming that his house was he's Satnam and things like that. He started giving details of his past life. And one day they went, one of his uncles went there and tried to find. Then when I met him, I said, would you like to meet your past life family? He said, yes, I would like to, but I don't have any conveyance. I don't know how to go there. I said, then come with me, I'll take you. So I took him there. You can see this short video. This is his past life mother, and he's meeting her, and you can see her face, how how she cries after seeing him. And I asked him, you have his books or something? And right behind, can you see this? It was kept, all his belongings were kept just right behind her, as if, this boy is still there. That kind of attachment. Now just watch this video, maybe. Okay, I've just cut it short. Now, these are the handwriting samples of Satnam and this boy. And Dr. Vikramjit Chauhan studied this case. He'll speak to you in a while. So, does reincarnation happen only in India? So, as I said, Julia Morgan Scott is here. She started speaking, remembering herself as Sarojini Naidu at the age of 20. Okay, and before that, she says she had never heard of this name. She had never heard of Sarojini Naidu. So you'll hear it from her mouth. She's here with us, and so far we have not. She has not really, met the past life family. So I hope one day it'll happen, and maybe we'll see. Maybe her claims will come true. This is she had no belief in reincarnation. And another thing is Sarojini Naidu, in the past life, she was very friendly to a poet. She was very friendly to a poet, and she believes her present husband is that poet. And the resemblance is there. If you can, later on, we'll show you the pictures. There is some resemblance between her present husband and the Arthur Simmons was the poet. So she'll talk about him later. Okay. So she was lives in Chattanooga, Tennessee, with her husband Ken, who is a TV video editor. Was born in 1951 in a small town called Pikeville, Tennessee. She graduated from the University of Tennessee at Chattanooga and has worked at the university for over 25 years as a scientific illustrator. I've seen her work, and I'm not exaggerating. Her work is really excellent. Maybe later on you can Google it. Amazing illustrations, scientific, not only scientific, even illustrations of fantasy. Really, she's a very good illustrator. This is Sarojini, and this picture she'll talk about later. See, this is the poet, and this is the present husband, the poet. And so I don't know, it looks a little bit similar to me. Okay, that you can. So sometime back, Julia sent me a message. She wanted to know how to pronounce Naidu. Was it Naidu or Naidu? So I told her it was Naidu. Then she said, oh, that's how I have been saying it in my head, but I was afraid I was wrong. So she got that pronunciation by, naturally right. Now here there is we can end with this little joke here. Can you read this? Now this little child is saying to his father, yeah, well, I didn't believe in reincarnation when I was your age either. So when I was of your, even I didn't believe in it. So he's born again. So that's the end of my presentation. I'll stop sharing the screen unless it is required. I don't think it's required. Now, you might want to, should we start with the, I think let's start with the Savita Sharma, because I don't, she may be a little tired or something. So I'll Savita ji, please keep the phone little away. And Aniket ji, could you enlarge her? Could you enlarge so that people see
When I
her?
was a small girl, about 3.5 years old, my mummy was trying to give me bath. When suddenly, and I was insisting that I go to my grandmother's house and have bath. Then mummy said, no, mummy, granny's bathroom is so dirty, our bathroom is so clean. Then I suddenly said, "Nahi, this is not my bathroom. My bathroom is in Calcutta." Then mummy got a shock. Who taught me that word, Calcutta? And then she forgot about giving me bath, and she said, "What else have you got in Calcutta?" I said, "I've got a 3-storied house, 3 talla badi, and I've got 4th sister who are studying in Lahore." Then mummy got another shock. Why is she talking about Lahore? And I was never sent to the school. My sister-in-law was there, my brother was there. They made me work day and night in the house. I used to clean the bathrooms. I used to clean the kitchen, the whole house. And I used to work like a servant. And I used to clean the fishes for cooking and utensils. Also, I used to wash the utensils. One day, there was little dirt left in one of the vessels. So my sister-in-law took iron tongs and gave me 2 on my head and I flew to Papa. I used to say, I flew. And till today, there is no direct flight from Calcutta to Dehradun. I was killed in Calcutta and I was born in Dehradun.
Anything else?
Tell us about, Savitaji, tell us about how you found your new house, how you flew from, tell us about that. I think, hello,
Yes.
Savitaji.
Anything else you want her to tell?
Yeah, about that flight, the night she landed in Calcutta and there were riots at the time when she was pregnant. I think you were.
I can't hear you.
Okay, sorry. You can't hear me. Can you hear me now?
Can hear you.
audible.
Dr. Preeti. Dr. Preeti,
We can't hear you, Mr. Kuldip.
all of you. No one can hear me.
Kuldip,
I can hear you.
I
You
can
can.
hear you.
I can hear you too.
No, I can hear.
We can hear.
Could you,
Can hear.
Can hear.
Dr. Preeti, are you there? Okay, I'll speak on her behalf. She says when she was pregnant with this Dr. Preeti, okay, she was maybe a few months pregnant. So her present life father got a job in Calcutta. Her present life father got a job in Calcutta, and you won't believe it. He's in the same premises where her past life brothers lived. Look at the coincidence. It was in the same place, same building where her past life family lived, her brother and sister-in-law, where she was killed. And she says when she landed there, perhaps it was in the 50s, there was a big riot in Calcutta. There was a big rioting, something was going on, and there were no taxis. Nobody, willing to take them because it's dangerous. But then one Sardarji taxi man was there. He said, "I'll take you," and of course he charged some money. And in one taxi, I think she has come. Would you like to speak? सविता, आप खुद बोलना चाहोगी? आप कलकत्ता गए और टैक्सी सरदार जी टैक्सी में लेके गए आपको? I think she can't hear maybe. Okay, so it was night time and very dangerous. So Sardarji said, "What about the address? Give me the address." She says, "You just follow my instructions. I don't know the address, but I'll take you there." And for the first time, she was landing in Calcutta at night time, and she took her to that house over there. And she went there and she told her father, "I think there must be a pond at the back of this house. There must be some kind of a tank at the back of this house." So father asked, "How do you know?" She said, "I don't know, I feel." And next day morning they said, "Yeah, there is a tank there." And that was the tank where she used to wash her clothes and do so many things, and where she was killed. So this is unfortunately we have lost connection with her. Anyway, now I can call Rajiv Khanna. Rajiv Khanna are you there, Rajiv Khanna? Rajiv Khanna. Okay, Mridula ji, Mridula is it? Okay, Mridula ji can talk about Munnu. That is Munnu, the girl who, Munnu ji. Unmute yourself.
Can't hear Mridula.
Unmute yourself, Mridula.
So it's like homecoming, speaking at the School of Ancient Wisdom. Manise had asked me to write about my story, and then there'd be a 9-page story written by me on this same reincarnation. It must be in the research center of the school. So maybe you can. Okay, now Kuldip has given most of the story. I was not 3, I was 15 months old when I started speaking. And I talk about Dehradun. My mother said she thought that I've just got stuck with the word. She would ask me, but that must have been later on, not at 15 months of age. She used to ask me, is it in Bombay? Is it in Ludhiana? Is it in Delhi? But I would say, no, it's in Dehradun. It's very far off. And it so happened that we reached Dehradun, and there was a function in an institution. We were there, and this car, what he showed, and that was the driver. Don't take it as someone else. That was the driver in whose arms I am. So as the car came in, I said, see, that is my car. No, go. And when my mother got out of the car, I said, that is my mother. My sister was also there with her 2 children. And I said, that is my bhabi. So my mother didn't know what bhabi meant. So later on, she asked my sister, she said, have you lost your bua? Because she's calling your mother bhabi. And my sister knew why I was calling her bhabi. And so she took me aside and she asked me, she said, do you know me? I said, huh? Who am I? You're Chotu. She was known as Chotu. And who am I? Who are you? I said, I'm Munnu. So then she asked me so many questions which I don't know, because whatever I'm speaking now is whatever I've heard from my 2 mothers, speaking to others, telling them. So when my mother finished with her meetings and all, she was president of the place. So my sister convinced her, Bhabhi, ye Munnu hai. Bhabhi said, ye kaise ho sakta hai? She said, nahi, mano na mano, Bhabhi ye Munnu hai. Then she said, I know this child loves me so much because I kept being behind, touching her sari. When Havan was going on, I kept my head on her lap, all that. Then my sister asked, she said, can we take her for 1 hour? Mummy was not ready. And she says, okay, whenever I would say, Guddi, mujhe dukh hoga, I would listen to her. But over here, when she said that, I didn't hear, because I wanted to go to that house. And the other ladies around, because this was something different happening, they all forced Mummy to send me. And my sister promised that we'd bring her back in an hour's time. On the way, we had to pick up my father. And I just got out of the car window saying, Taji, Taji, Taji.
Mridula ji, sorry to interrupt you, but when you say father, mother, please make it clear, this life father or past life father.
Okay, okay. My this life father died when I was 40 days old. So I didn't have a father in this life. I mean, I didn't see him while growing up. I was only 40 days old when he died. So these people, they stopped the house, in the car at the crossroad before the house. And they said, Chalo, everyone got down of the car. And they said, Chalo. So I ran into the house, I ran inside. There was some renovation done. And I got puzzled. I said, ye to nahi, ye to nahi. They said, nah, chalo, chalo, aage chalo. And then I ran here and there, and I reached my my room. I said, iska darwaza kholo. So they opened. I remember that day. I remember very well. I removed my shoes. I went in. I asked. I said, this is Chotu's cupboard. That is my cupboard. And kholo ye over there. I asked them to open. There was a jewelry box. I said, isko kholo. They said, we didn't find the key ever since you went. We didn't find it. I said, oh, that's in my history book. And I took the history book and I gave them the key. So there was a fire lying there. I wore that. And when I entered the room, no, I looked at the fan and I said, "Oh, drawing room ka pankha mere kamre mein laga diya." Oh, the family got thinking 7 years back that fan was in the drawing room. So like that, I spoke about the Swamiji who used to recite Upanishad while I was on the deathbed. And the Mali who used to get flowers every day. And Swamiji, Anand Swamiji, some of you would know about him. He was a Vanprasthi when I died. He was the Vanprasthi means he was in white clothes. And when I saw him again, he was in saffron clothes. He had taken sannyas. So I asked him, "Aapne kapde kab rang liye?" Like that. And there were so many other things, like my father, he like past birth father, Taji, he was buying sweets, mithai from a shop. And I said, "Isse mat kharido." He left our purse here, he didn't return it back. And those were, before I died, was the freedom fighting time. So they bought me once, it was we were in an open car and we were parked as a place in the bazaar. So Tachi bought me a stemmed balloon, the balloon which has a stem. So I took that and I said, "Chalo Tachi, hum apna favorite gana gaye, jhanda uncha rahe hamara." And there were so many things that father and daughter had spoken, and I spoke back to him enough to convince them. My Bhavi showed me my mother, past birth mother, showed me so many books, photos, saying, making me puzzled. This the small baby in my lap. She said, "ये गुड्डी है." I said, "नहीं, ये मौसी जी की baby है. मैं तो साड़ी ब्लाउज में हूँ." And they showed me my baby photo, Munu's baby photo, and I said, "That is me when I was young." So ऐसे करके I recognize everyone, like almost everyone around, my professor and servants and all that. So many things happened. And the townsfolk said कि अगर सेठानी जी ने मान लिया तो सच्ची होगा. Plus they saw I was 2 years, 9 months old when I met them. And would have been of a smaller stature also, being a short woman. So when they saw me, they said, "इतना छोटा बच्चा तो कोई सिखा नहीं सकता." And so many things, अंदर की बातें जो others didn't know. All that.
Okay. Thank you, Mridula. Now,
You had sent this thing to my brother, cousin of last birth. I knew he wouldn't come. I sent it to my cousins also because
past life cousin.
Past life cousin.
You should make it clear.
We were not able to because this is WebEx and
this is very confusing. One day I met Mridula in her for the second time in her Dehradun home, house. I met her and I said I would like to meet somebody from a past life if they can. So she called a cousin of hers, Vinay Gupta, right? His name is Vinay Gupta, and he was actually younger when she died. He was maybe how old, 14 or younger? Younger, but now he's older. Obviously, now he's maybe in his 80s or something. And they were talking, and I was listening to their stories. They started talking. Then this happened, that happened. Somebody came, this happened, and for a while I forgot that they are talking about past life. For a while I forgot because they were so involved in it. So this is very confusing. So that's why you have to make very clear who is this life mother, past life mother, this life husband, past life husband. All that has to be made very clear.
Thank God there was no husband. Thank God.
Okay, but sometimes that. Okay,
no,
now
I gave my cousins the name of their grandmother. They didn't know.
Okay, his cousin didn't know his grandmother's name. Because.
Yes.
In olden times, we used to not know the name of some old people, especially women.
They used to die young, no? So, she died when my parents got married.
So she told them the exact name of his grandmother. All right. Now, you can speak to these later. Before that, Dr. Vikram Raj Chauhan. Dr. Vikram Raj Chauhan. He is a forensic expert. Dr. Vikram.
Hello, good evening, sir.
Yeah, please. Now, I told you about that Satnam case, about that handwriting case. So he will speak about that. And he is a forensic expert who didn't believe in any such things. He's a scientist and he works for, was it Patiala Bureau, what's it called? Patiala
Bureau of Identification.
Patiala Bureau of Identification. He's a forensic expert. And his verdict is final in many ways. You know, when forgery or something, when police has some problem to check forgeries and such things, so they consult him. And even other, not just handwriting, even other things, he is an expert. If you look at his degrees, you will get a, you know, at least I got an inferiority complex after looking at his degrees and his accomplishments. And he has achieved so much. He was the one, he was contacted by the police. Now he'll take on from here. Hanji, aap bataiye, you can tell them how you came to know about this case, Dr. Vikram.
Yeah, I'd like to thank the School of Ancient Wisdom and Dr. Kuldip Dhiman for giving me the opportunity to speak on this unique topic regarding the reincarnation. And the second question arises that can science uphold the belief in rebirth? And is rebirth possible? Or are there any scientific basis for believing in rebirth? So to see all this, we have a story which was carried out in the newspaper. And in that newspaper, it was mentioned that a boy remember his previous birth. And it was very interesting to see that how anybody can remember his previous birth. Being a science student, first of all, I was not believing this fact. But later, I tried to investigate the matter because one of the police officials contacted me to investigate this matter, as the boy who was claiming to reborn, he said that he was in the economically weak section of the society he was born in. And the boy, he was talking of his previous birth. He belonged to a very rich family. So there was a confusion whether this boy is going to be settled in that family or not. Something like that. This was the question. So when I reached this boy, he was just 6-year-old, and he was living in a village Aluna Miana near Payal, Ludhiana district. So when I met, I gave him some sweets and some toys, but he said, "No, I am not a kid. I am an adult person." So I was just amazing what he was talking about. And then when I talked regarding his rebirth, he said that I am Satnam Singh of the village Chakchela in the Jalandhar district, and I was a student of 9th class. And I was studying in a school in Nihalwal, secondary school in Nihalwal village. And when I was returning home on bicycle with my friend named Sukhvinder Singh, so he met with an accident with a scooter who was ridden by Joga Singh, and he died on 10th September 1992. After he received a serious injuries on his head, and he died the following day. So this was the little story. And he also told me that her previous birth mother has kept some books which was soaked with blood at the time when the accident was there, and he preserved that books along with a purse which was containing ₹30 in the pocket. So when I asked him whether you can write, or you are studying in 9th, you can read or write. So he said, yes, I can write both in English, Punjabi, and he can make it drawing, and he can do some mathematics also. So I just made it on the paper, and he just written all these Punjabi wordings and English wordings and the digits also. So we took that boy to his previous parents in some Chakchela village, which was earlier identified by his parents because they already went there. And when I asked regarding the books, so her mother just took out those books, and I just seen and the notebooks. And then I went to the school where he was studying, and I just confirmed his writings from the teachers that it was who has written these books. So they said that it was the writings of Satnam Singh. So it was standard books for me for comparison with the writings of this boy who was claiming to be the rebirth. So when I compared these handwriting, first of all, I will tell you the thing that what is handwriting. Handwriting is basically an applied science which consists of optics, physiology, and psychology. The optics is the science of sight, physiology is the science of physiology as physique, and the psychology is the science of mind. So the combination of all these sciences make the handwriting possible. So when I compared the writings of this boy with his previous writings, then I was amazed to see that it was characteristics of the writings were clearly matching, except for some muscular coordination, because the boy was very small and he doesn't have that muscular coordination for writing the material which he was writing earlier in his previous work. So by combining these writings, I came to conclusion that these are of the same person. So all were amazing that the boy was not going to school and he has never seen any book, or he has not written in their presence, the present parents' presence. So they were amazed that he can write without going to school. So when I compared that these writings belong to one person, so the question came to my mind that if it is presumed that soul is transferred from one person to another, there it can be inferred that the mind will remain the same. Thus, if Satnam Singh's soul was believed to have been transferred into the Taranjit Singh's body, then it stood to reason that the writing of Taranjit Singh would have correspond with that of the Satnam Singh. So, as Dr. Kuldip Dhiman has also said that regarding the theory of hardware and software, so the software was there in that boy. So when I presented this paper at the national level, they also couldn't believe how it can be possible. I just put it the matter that these are two sets of writing and whether these writings matches with one another or not. They said that they are corresponding. Now tell. After that, when I told them this is the writing of the present boy and his previous birth writing. So they were also amazed that there were characteristics matching and which can prove that they belong to one and the same person. Now the question which arises that how can you say that soul has been transferred into one body to another? So this was a point of query for me also. So I also investigated in the previous that Gita is also written that the soul was there, it can be transferred from. But these set of question writings are also, I have taken the standard writings of that person sometimes 2 years after that incident and keep on taking these handwritings. And it was just from the previous writings, now it was changing gradually because he had now adapted a new style of writing. And then again, I have presented this paper at the international level in Philippines, and they also amazed to see that the characteristics are still there. So regarding this comparison of the handwriting, this is the first case scientific in the science that which claimed that the handwriting was of one person, and now it is up to you to believe whether it can be believed or not, because I have based my findings on the scientific facts, and that is the general characteristics, individual characteristics of the that person writings. So this was the interesting case. Yes, Dr. Kuldip, any queries regarding
later, we'll take the questions later.
Okay,
Please don't go.
Thank you. This was a brief my concept regarding there are more cases of rebirth which I am investigating, and which I have one investigated at Saharanpur, where we have got a skeleton, which was got skeleton, and which the boy claimed that it was he was buried there, and when we excavate that portion, so skeleton was there, and we got the superimposition of the skull with the photograph of the previous that boy, and it was also got matched. It was also a unique case, and it was based upon the circumstantial evidence that he was murdered by his uncle. So,
okay. Thank you, Dr. Vikram. You didn't tell me about this case. You have been, you have maybe saving
it was a later on. It was also a one scientific important. It was just very crucial, and it was some kind of a secret thing which I was not allowed to see because it was on the Z News and all Aztak after that.
Okay, right. All right. Oh, thank you so much. Dr. Vikram is a world-renowned expert, forensic expert. He has given a lot of lectures all over the world, in Canada, US, everywhere. And this is what he's saying. And at that, and all these meetings, people, it's not just his opinion that the handwritings match. Even other experts have agreed that this is because he did a blind. In science, there's something called doing a blind. So he didn't tell them that these are two, the same dead person and live. He just said, do these match? And they said, yes, they are of the same person. And that's how it was, in that sense, it is more credible. What he's saying is more credible. Later on, he told them that one person is dead and one person is alive. And there are some other stories. If there is time, I'll tell you. Rajiv Khanna ji, are you there? Rajiv Khanna. Yeah, I've told you, you are muted. Unmute yourself. Unmute कीजिए अपने आप. Yes, this is Rajiv Khanna, the first case I mentioned. I think his driving looks like. Are you
sitting in a car?
Okay, he is in a car. So you can, if you want to add to something what I said, you can add. Otherwise, later on, if there is a question, you can answer. कुछ मैं भूल गया हूं तो आप बोल सकते हैं.
No, I am not listening all the things, but I joined just now.
All right. I briefly told them about you, and his story was published in the Tribune. I wrote that, and it was on the first page of the Tribune in around 20 years ago or so. Okay, later on maybe you can ask me questions.
2002.
2002. Okay, good. Thank you. Maybe I can share that link and you can read that story yourself. Or if you Google Kuldip Dhiman plus Rajiv Khanna, you will probably get that link, in Google. You can read his story in detail. It was a lead article in the Tribune. Okay, now I think I've dealt with everybody. So now I invite Julia Morgan Scott, and she will talk about her experience, her memories as Sarojini Naidu. Yes,
Hi,
Julia.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, before that, sir, could you please ask Mr. Rajiv Khanna to mute? That's the reason why it is echoing for everybody.
Rajiv ji, mute kijiye. Rajiv ji, please mute. Yeah, thank you. Okay.
Here. Okay. Well, I was raised in a small town in East Tennessee in the United States, in the southern part of the United States. And my father was a physician, and we attended church, a conservative Protestant church. Although we were pretty open-minded at home, we spoke about a lot of different things at home. I'll talk about that in a minute. But we didn't believe in reincarnation, and I married my first husband and had a child. I think I was more like 21. I think I must have been about 21. My child was born when I was 20. My daughter, she's almost 50 now. This would have been about early 1972. I remember I was living in Memphis, Tennessee, where my husband was in dental school. And I was trying to put my daughter down for a nap in the afternoon. And I lay down on the cot with her because she didn't like to take a nap. I'm sure y'all are familiar with that. And all of a sudden, it was just like, boom, I was someone else. I was somewhere else. It was completely vivid. I was not asleep. I saw myself in a black and white pinstripe skirt and a white apron with little black shoes. And I knew it was 1895 or the date 1895 popped into my head. And then something about the Boer War. And I've never understood that until very recently. I think I might have an idea of what that meant. And all of a sudden, I knew I was someone else once. I was someone else, but this was me. And it only lasted a few seconds. And when I came out of it, I believed in reincarnation, and I've never doubted it since. Absolutely never doubted it since. And then a few years later, my first husband had graduated from dental school, and we were living back in Pikeville, where I grew up. And I was reading a book, and I came on a reference to a lady named Florence Nightingale. She was a famous nurse. And all of a sudden, it happened again. It was like, boom, here I was in that black and white pinstripe skirt and the white apron. And it was like I was someone else. And this time I was in a long hallway, and I was holding a tray. And it seemed like some sort of nursing thing or something. I wasn't sure. But I felt like I knew my name. I thought, I know my name. I know my name. And then when it was over, I'd forgotten again. Well, I kind of put it behind me. Once again, I believed in reincarnation after that. But several years went by. I divorced my first husband and remarried my present husband, Ken Scott. And I think it was about 1981 or 82. My mother gave me a book that had short biographies of famous people. And one of them was Mahatma Gandhi. And there was a one sentence, it was a one-page bio, and there was one sentence in it that said, his dear friend, Sajani Naidu, who was called the Nightingale of India. And all of a sudden, this little voice in my head said, that was you. And I thought, nah, I don't believe that. I don't believe that. So I kind of put it out of my mind, but I hung on to that book, and I remembered that name. I've never heard of Sajani Naidu before. And at this point, I was 30 years old. I'd never heard of it. And I really hadn't really spoken to very many people at all about my past life memories that I'd had, except my present husband. So then, really, I wasn't able to do anything about finding anything about this, except I remember I looked her name up in my parents' Encyclopedia Britannica, and there was a one-paragraph entry, and it did mention 1895 that she visited Great Britain at that time, but there was no photograph of her. But I started working at the university in the city where I live, Chattanooga, in 1995. And a little while after that, the university got computers in the library. And I went to the library, and there was a search engine. It wasn't Google yet. It was the first search engine. And the first thing I typed in on that computer was Sajani Naidu. And I got one hit. And I believe that there was a mention there of a man named Arthur Simmons. Well, once again, I got this little ding, ding, find out more about this Arthur Simmons person. And I think at that time, I typed his name in on the search engine, and I found a picture of Arthur Simmons. And I was just astounded because I recognized him, and it was my husband. I was like, this cannot be. And I have to admit that until then, I really didn't give, I believed in reincarnation, but I never would have believed that I could find out who I was. It would have just seemed impossible. But after that, I had to find out more. So at that point, I was able to, I went to the library, and I couldn't find anything about Sajani, but I did find a book in the library of the university about Arthur Simmons. And I checked it out, and there were other photographs of him in the book that just blew me away. They looked so much like my husband. And at that point, I was able to use, I believe I looked in the bibliography of that book, and I found 2 very old biographies of Sajani, and I got an interlibrary loan because they were unavailable. I got an interlibrary loan, and I got an interlibrary loan and ordered these old biographies and read them, kind of flipped through them. And I was able to correspond events in her life to dreams I'd had. Now, luckily, my entire life, I had been writing down vivid dreams and experiences in a notebook, which is now about that thick. And so I had written all these dreams down, and I found that, for instance, when I was 11 or 12 years old, I dreamed, and this is long before I ever drove a car, I dreamed I was driving an open 1920s or 1930s style automobile on a narrow mountain road, and that I ran off into the trees and thought I was going to die. And it was extremely vivid dream, and I woke up with my heart pounding. Well, I remembered that because Sajani had a car accident. It was mentioned in the book, just one sentence. She had a car accident and scarred her face very badly, apparently, when she was close to 50. And then I remembered that I dreamed several times about being in South Africa. And these were dreams that didn't seem like dreams. They were in full color. It was like being in a movie of real life that just happened for a second. And I remembered being in South Africa. I've never been in South Africa, but Sajani went to South Africa 3 times. I was able to validate that Indian ladies in Great Britain joined ambulance corps in bandage rolling organizations during the Boer War and World War I. And I found a photograph of Indian ladies, not Sajani, wearing the identical outfit that I'd seen. And I had dreamed about being present at the funeral of a very great man that I didn't identify in the dream, but there was flames, there were people standing all around the water, and everybody had flowers, orange flowers, all around their necks, and holding flowers and torches. And I was in a boat on the water, and I read in the biography that at Gandhi's funeral, she rowed a boat to immerse his ashes. And also the dream had a part where it seemed like I was at my own funeral and watching my own cremation. And I felt this sense of gratification both times in the dream that all the correct ceremonies were being carried out. And I could see all the people standing around and with the orange flowers. And the book said that the people at her funeral, many of them there were masses of marigolds, which I would have not known about that. Just recently, I went back and looked at some of these books, which I finally was able to purchase in the last year or two. And for instance, Arthur Simmons who wrote poetry like Sajani did. For instance, he had a small dog that died, and he said in the book, it said he swore he would never have a dog again. Well, I remembered that when my husband and I married, I wanted to get a small dog, and he says, "No, we can never have a small dog. I don't want a small dog. There's no reason, there's no explanation, but no small dog." And just little correspondences. And there were other, like almost like reflections that I saw, like her childhood. Her father had bushy white hair and a white beard, and my father had bushy white hair and a big mustache, and he was very charismatic, like Sajani's father. And our home had many, many books, and there was a great emphasis on learning, very much like Sajani. And also, we were both gifted children. I was tested in my school and had the highest test scores in my school, just like Sajani did. And but like Sajani, I dropped out of college, just like Sajani did. And I went back later and got a degree after my children were older. But yeah, there just seemed to be similarities there. And I had also been a writer. I had published poetry before I ever knew about who Sajani really was. So there seemed to be similarities and reflections. And even just in the last few years, I found a short videotape about Sajani's husband, Dr. Naidu. And I recognized him too. It was my first husband who died last year. Now, I was able to recognize there were all these photographs on the internet that purported to be of Sajani and her husband. And I looked at them one time and I said, "That's not him." And it's not. It's a Japanese poet named Yoni Noguchi. If you type in Sajani's husband, his picture will pop up. I don't know why. But yeah, I'm not trying to, it's not something I'm trying to prove to anybody, because I fear that after it's been 70 years since she died. I did find out recently that only one of her children ever married. She had 4 children. Only one ever married and had children themselves. And they married a German woman in Germany. So it's possible that none of her grandchildren live in India. I don't know. And I've remembered other things too as I read the books. I could go on and on. I don't want to bore anyone. I knew immediately when reading the books that a lot of the stuff was inaccurate. That I knew that after all of her children were born, that she and her husband had a companionate marriage. And she was gone all the time. She started traveling around the world and working for the freedom of India. And she stopped writing poetry at that time. I'll just say one more thing. A lady, the last time I spoke, asked me, "Why did I come into this life?" And I said, "Well, to be with my husband, Arthur Simmons." They had met when she was in England in 1895, and the book said that they were friends, but I knew it was more than that, and I didn't find out more about that until I read Arthur Simmons. I'm 69. I'm 1 year younger than Sajani was when she died at age 70. But I'll tell you about that in a minute too. But she met Arthur Simmons, who was a poet, in 1895 in Great Britain when she went to King's College in Cambridge. And they were friends all through her life and wrote to one another. Yes, I was born in 1951. Sajani died in 1949, and I didn't know about that either until much later. But she traveled back in 1898 and married Dr. Naidu, who she had been corresponding with in Britain. And I realize now, number one, that when I found the computers at UTC and found the pictures of Arthur Simmons, that was almost exactly 100 years after she left Great Britain and said goodbye to Arthur Simmons. And also, my first spontaneous recall occurred when I was 21. And it happened, I didn't write down the exact date, but it was in late spring or early March. And I realized, just since I've corresponded with you, Dr. Dhiman, about her birthday is February 13th and she died on March the 2nd. So I believe my first past life recall occurred during that late February, early March. That's when it happened. So these little, mirrors and repercussions and reflections occur, I believe, too, between lives. But I think the one lady asked me, she said, why do you think you came back? And I think it was more than just to be with my husband. Because I think she loved Dr. Naidu too. He was the father of her children. But it was also, I think she was so tired when she died. She wanted to have an ordinary life. I think she wanted to go back to her writing and her art. She had an artistic side, which she completely forgot during her world travels and her work for India. And for a long time, I wasn't able to remember anything about her political life. None of that, none of the names or anything they didn't make any impression on me at all. And I don't think I've ever met Gandhi in this life. But it did occur to me finally that I'd always had this empty place, this feeling of a lost guru, that I had a teacher somewhere, a teacher. Where is he? Why can't I find him? And it finally occurred to me that was him. But I never found him. I'm sorry. I don't know why that would make me cry. But yeah, I also realized that I had religious correspondences with her life. I'd always been interested in Indian gods and goddesses, and theosophy. I know that theosophy and the Golden Dawn, that Arthur Simmons was friends with people who were in the Order of the Golden Dawn in Great Britain, and also Madame Blavatsky and theosophy. And this had interested me my entire life from the time I was in my early 20s. And right before I had my first spontaneous past life memory, one of the things, a friend of me in Memphis, we had gone to a little bookstore, and I had picked up a copy of the Bhagavad Gita. Did I pronounce it right?
Yeah, Bhagavad Gita.
Yeah.
Bhagavad
Yeah.
Gita.
And I remember reading the part about Arjuna and Krishna, and that brought tears to my eyes. And I look back on that, and I wonder if that didn't maybe jog something loose. I don't know. But I was always interested in Eastern religions and theosophy and the Golden Dawn, which would tie in with her life very much. But anyway, that's all.
Okay, thank you, Julia. That was
You're
great.
welcome.
I would like to add that Sarojini Naidu also was ambassador to the US for some time. She was ambassador to the US.
Oh, was she really? Okay.
Yes, she
I know
was.
she visited the United States. Yeah.
And maybe that's why, she was. And another thing, somebody who is an expert in literature might compare your poetry with Sarojini Naidu's, and
Yeah,
we'll
it's very
see
similar in style.
if there is anything there. So we could try that. And I'm not heard this before, but I'm not sure if Sarojini Naidu also painted. I'm not sure. So because
he was interested in crafts. she did crafts and weaving.
But her brother was an artist, but because
Yeah,
it was very
I think
distinguished.
so.
The
Yeah,
brothers and
Mr. Dad
sisters,
was an
they were
artist.
all very talented. All of them
Yeah.
were very talented.
Yeah.
Okay, now we, if there are any questions to any, if the audience, if they would like to ask something, any clarification, you now it is open.
It's amazing, really amazing how Julia has shared, and thank you so much. And
Before you ask a question, please tell us your name or raise your hand so that we know who is speaking.
okay, my name is Meera.
Meera.
Meera Narayan.
Are you here? Are we seeing you now? No. Okay. Yes, Meera, go ahead.
Yeah. Okay, I think I am. Okay, I'm on. Yeah, now you can see me.
All right.
Mr.
Meera
Kuldip.
Sankriti.
Yes, yes. You know, I've read this book, Dr. Brian Weiss's Many Lives and Many Masters in Many Lives. And then he says, the minute people die, they are born again because the souls never die. And so in this case, you know, when Miss Julia shared, she said she's 69. And Sarojini Naidu died 70 years ago. So it's really amazing, and how you connect with the same people that you are associated in some way or another. So, but how do we find that out? I mean, you know, this the only thing, because she had premonitions. I mean, she had some, but you know, not many of us get that, right, sir?
Yeah, it's a mystery why some people remember, why some don't. And most of them, those who remember, they are generally cases of unnatural death, violent death. Normally, except 1 or 2 cases like that of Mridula, most of the cases are of accidental death or murder. But then the question arises, there are hundreds of murders every day, hundreds of road accidents, wars, or something. Why all of them don't recall? No, that's a mystery. We don't know why all don't recall. My personal belief is, I personally, you know, you can say not exactly a theory, it is just a conjecture or my guesswork. Normally, children begin to speak at the age of, say, 2.5, right? 2.5 or 3. But even at that age, they just say mama, papa, something like that. Very simple sentences. They cannot make complex sentences. By the time they gain enough language skills to communicate properly, their past life memories fade away. It's like a dream. See, when you get up in the morning, if you write your dream immediately, you know it will be there. But if you say I'll write after breakfast, or then by then you'll forget.
Yes.
Same thing. I suppose all of us remember our past life, but by the time we become eloquent enough to talk about it, it's too late. But some people, for some mysterious reason, they remember. Now we don't know why. Now that, but as I said, we are just looking into this. We are not saying reincarnation happens. It is just open. We are just left it. Just these are the real life cases, and you know, instead of talking about all that, we should know what we don't know. So I don't know why this happens. Nobody, like some people claim they know. They are yogis and others. They say they know, but why it happens? Those theories we can maybe on some other occasion I can talk about that. That what Indian philosophies say about reincarnation. You know, why reincarnation? Because then you have to know the karma theory. You have to karma theory, and you know, like that. All this is interlinked. Even in India, not everybody believes in reincarnation. By the way,
yeah, true.
not everybody believes. Even among Hindus, not everybody believes in reincarnation. All right. That's the reason that. But when we see in science, we are not supposed to ignore counter evidence also. Most of the time what happens, scientists, they take evidence which confirms their theory. But in the true spirit of science, you have to also investigate experience which counters your theory, which goes against it. You cannot ignore it just because it does not match with your theory, and it will probably, you know, demolish your theory. So you should, even one instance. So we should, that openness should be there. Unfortunately, most of the mainstream science people, they dismiss these things without even checking. Even without checking, they dismiss this whole thing, which I feel is not right in the scientific spirit. At the same time, you should not believe without, just because it is written in the Gita or somewhere, you should not believe just like that, just because it is written there. Until you meet a case, until you meet such people, and so then you can, then after that you decide whether you believe it or not. That's a different thing.
Okay.
There's a bigger, this argument is big. If you want the whole theory behind this, that requires another class, or maybe series of such lectures where we can talk about what is karma, what is atma. See, to talk about this, first of all, you should accept atma. Science doesn't accept atma, and even if it is atma, what is really, all that we have to know. Maybe some other time we'll discuss that. And now, any other questions?
Any other questions?
Kuldip ji, I have one question. Kuldip ji, I have one question. Very fascinating meeting.
Who is this, Shahaji?
Kuldip ji, I am Shahaji Pawar, yes, from Bangalore. Very fascinating. Just a question. We do read and follow a lot of evolved souls like Sri M and Sri Sri and all these Sadhguru and all these people who have shown higher understanding and life as such. The specific question is, has there been any study done on these great evolved souls that they have reincarnated? Like we talk of reincarnation of Krishna Avatara, Dashavatara, something like that, which, yes, common people, common experiences, fine. How these people turn out to be super intelligent, so highly evolved? Any research done or any kind of knowledge on that, if you could throw light on?
No, I don't think in India, certainly not. And in the West, only in the last 30 years or so, 40 years, they have started taking it. Only one small section has started taking it seriously. But no such research has been done because most of us don't have that scientific temperament. We just believe it just because Guruji is saying, so you believe it. And that scientific temperament is not there. We have to be skeptic first. You have to, don't accept things just like that. First, just because it is written in some book or it is some great man is saying it, all right, we trust those people. But until we ourselves see that thing. See, in his commentary on the Bhagavad Gita, Shankaracharya says, even if 100 Vedas say that fire does not burn, okay, fire is not hot, fire does not burn, but your experience says fire burns, then Shankaracharya says you don't believe in the Veda. Then that means there's something wrong there. So you believe in your personal experience. You have to verify it yourself. And at the same time, he adds to it. He says, if something is written in the Veda which is counter to your intelligence, to your experience, then first suspect yourself. Before suspecting those people, you suspect yourself. Maybe you have understood that thing wrongly. So this way you have to be a skeptic first and then accept. First you be skeptic. Don't accept anything blindly. You have to investigate, argue about it logically, and only then, if you're convinced, you accept.
Thank you.
Welcome.
We'll take one last question because we've overshot our time. So one last question, someone. There are quite a few on the chat.
I hope this session is being recorded so we could share it.
Yes, it's being recorded.
And see through it.
Yes.
Thank you.
No, there are questions in the chat, but I don't have the time to read them because if I read them, then I can't speak.
Okay, so we'll have one live question, the last one. Anyone?
Yeah, I'm Baljit, and can I ask one question, Dr. Kuldip?
Yes. I think you should ask questions to others also, but anyway, yeah.
Dr. Kuldip, I'm Baljit, and I want to ask you, sometime I read Bible, और इसमें थोड़ा हिंदी में बोल सकती हूँ?
हाँ, बोलिए, कोई बात नहीं।
जी, इसमें जब जीसस ने अपना वो जब सबसे जो उनके क्लोजेस्ट फॉलोअर्स थे, उनको बताया था कि अभी मैं जाने वाला हूँ, और उन्होंने एक इंडिकेशन भी दिया, तो उनमें उनके जो 12 फॉलोअर्स थे, 12, उनके सबको उन्होंने वो विजन तो नहीं दिया था, एक दो को जो बहुत उनके क्लोज थे उनको वो विजन दिया। तो चाहे तो इस्लाम और क्रिश्चियनिटी इसको रीबर्थ को नहीं मानता है ना जी, लेकिन मैं कई बार सोचती हूँ कि क्रिश्चियनिटी में तो इट वाज लाइव डेमो बाय जीसस।
हाँ जी,
इट वाज लाइव। तो ये तो बिल्कुल प्रैक्टिकल उन्होंने करके दिखाया कि रीबर्थ में तो वो उनका रूप नहीं था, वो जो पहले थे जो उनको उनके चेलों ने देखा हुआ था उनको, तो वो तो नहीं था उनका वो शक्ल, लेकिन उन्होंने वो प्रैक्टिकल जाके जब वो मछलियां पकड़ने के लिए बोलते थे तो यहाँ जाल डालो, उधर आपको फिशेस मिल जाएंगी। तो जो सबसे उनके एक दो क्लोज थे तो फिर उन्होंने याद किया कि क्रूसीफाई होने से पहले इन्होंने हमें ये बताया था। तो मैं इसको मानती हूँ, कैन वी टेक इट एज रीबर्थ?
Yeah, but I am not an expert on Christianity, so I would not like to comment on it. Maybe Sajani and other organizers can they might invite somebody who is an expert in Christian theology. They would be in a better position to talk about it, because even I have read references, and there are many books which say that reincarnation was accepted in Christianity earlier. In the beginning, it was accepted. And even in other similar Abrahamic religions, it was part of it. But later on, because of many reasons, it was purged out from the mainstream. Now, but I'm not an expert on this topic, so I would not like to talk about it. You might invite somebody who who can speak more authoritatively on this.
Yes, thank you so much, Dr.
And I wish there were some
you.
questions to Dr. Vikram and other participants, but if maybe if you could take. Otherwise,
would anyone like to ask Dr. Vikram? He's such an authority. Any questions? Please unmute and ask.
Dr. Vikram told me one story, which I would like to just, by the time others ask a question, one quickly I'll tell you. I asked him, have you come across any other such thing? This was 4 or 5 years ago. So he says, yeah, there was a girl who remembers herself as a minister in Shah Jahan's court. Shah Jahan, who made the Taj Mahal, the Taj, okay, Shah Jahan. So Vikram, so she remembers herself as a minister from Shah Jahan's court, and she used to say that I was against the construction of the Taj Mahal. I opposed Shah Jahan. Dr. Vikram is here. Maybe you can hear it from his mouth. Dr. Vikram, do you remember this case?
Yeah, I was remembering regarding but the facts was not clear regarding that story, because it was taken up, but the later on I think it was not up to the mark.
You lost touch with that girl, I suppose.
Yeah. She was not in contact after that.
Okay.
It was a long time.
No, anyway, it's just a humorous touch. So she used to keep saying, I was against the Taj, and she used to keep talking about Agra. And then one day her parents said, let us, we are going where? She asked where. Then they said, we are going to Agra. She said, for what? Then they said, we'll show you the Taj Mahal. Then she said, what? They have constructed the Taj? So for her, Taj hadn't been, because she died before the construction of the Taj in her past life. She died, so she was ignorant of that.
It was a case, but it was another case from even Bangladesh also. A lady was stating that she was a Indian actress, Meena Kumari also.
Oh yeah, you told me about that.
Yeah, it was, but it was not again. It was investigated, but not because they invited me to Bangladesh. So due to time constraint, I was not able to go there. So
maybe Sajani ji, maybe you should invite Dr. Vikram Singh for a one solo lecture.
Well, because this has been so amazing, this whole, and having to meet people who've gone through this. So it's really been an amazing session, and I think we can have another after sometime next year in 2021.
You can call
definitely.
You can invite individually, maybe Vikram ji and Julia separately and Rajiv ji separately also, and have a little more detailed discussion about this.
Exactly. We will definitely think of it. Mridula has spoken to us, but not on this subject.
Okay.
So she's been with the school for a long time, and we will definitely get in touch with all of you again, because it's really been so good. Even if you look at the chat, most people have found it an amazing session. Right? Okay, so now with this, I think we have come to the end of our session. Thank you so much. I call upon Deepti John to kindly propose a vote of thanks. Deepti?
Yeah. Okay. On behalf of the School of Ancient Wisdom, I wish to express my heartfelt gratitude to Dr. Kuldip Dhiman for his insightful and informative talk on the topic of reincarnation, which is a fascinating topic in itself. So it's noteworthy that you said that most scientists are not even investigating the phenomenon. Before you reject the evidence, at least examine it. At least investigate and find out. Isn't that what you said? Like many of them are not even doing this, which is sad, really. So life after death is an essential concept as far as spirituality itself is concerned. Ignorance and confusion with regard to concepts relating to life after death can create doubts, fear, etc., and which in turn could impede one's spiritual growth. Thank you again, sir, for your insights on this valuable topic. Thank you.
And you should also thank the subjects like Julia, Mridula, and Rajiv ji, and Savita Sharma, and Dr. Vikram, because
thank you.
If I had just given a talk, it wouldn't have been so convincing. If I had just given a talk, you wouldn't have been so interested. But because of these people, it has become a lively session. So I personally thank them, and I think School of Wisdom also should thank these participants who took out their valuable time. For Julia, it was early, very early morning. I think 6 o'clock, 6 a.m. Yet she came. Thank you, everybody. And
thank you, everyone who joined us, for giving us your insights. And as someone said, he actually starts believing in this. It's been fantastic speaking to all of you, because each one has given us an insight, and it's really strengthened our belief in reincarnation. So thank you for joining us, sharing all your experiences, and we look forward to having you at the school again as soon as the school opens after COVID. The school is a beautiful place, and I would like all of you to come there. It's really an amazing place.
Maybe you should invite Julia to your school, so that perhaps we can pick up the threads of her past life, because she hasn't been yet. She hasn't been to India.
I'd like all of you to come to the school.
Definitely.
I'd like you also to come to the school.
Definitely,
right?
Sajani ji.
Please do come. And with this, now I'd like Ramesh to chant the Loka Samasta. Ramesh.
Thank you, Sajani. And thank you, Kuldip ji, and all the other, people who have made.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Kuldip ji, and all the other participants and the speakers who have made this so much more real to so many of us. For me, it's always been a fascinating topic. Brings us closer to our spiritual self, our awareness closer to our spiritual self, that we have many lives and many masters. So, head aligned and close your eyes. Let's connect with each other wherever we are around the world. Take a deep. Let us chant Loka Samasta together. Bhavantu Loka Samasta Sukhino Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti. Om Tat Sat Brahmarpanamastu.
Thank you, Ramesh. Thank you, everyone, once again. And I'd like to tell everyone that if you'd like to know what we're doing at the school, kindly send your number to Ravi Gerard. It's been given in the chat box. And we'll put you on the WhatsApp group and let you know about all our future programs. On Fridays, we have the Bhagavad Gita. On Saturdays, we have Spiritual Quest. On Sundays, we have Atma Bodh. So we have a number of programs. And next Thursday, we will have Agnihotra. Very interesting. So those of you who want to kindly give your names and we'll add you to our WhatsApp groups. Thank you once again. We look forward to seeing you again. Goodbye.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye, everyone.
Good night, everyone.